Hi, this is a FDM supergroup coded interface, and if you see that earlier case, we have seen the same. There are the two buffers for the writing and a reading there. Similar case in FDM supergroup that having in a transmit system. So we can have an analog input, it generate a sequence of a digital data, data output for 4.416 Mbps, and that is applied for the compression buffer. So we can have data to be stored in the buffer that in terms of whatever we are having the samples for this TDMA frame, and this whatever the data is stored in this buffer is read out from the buffer at a TDMA rate in the bus mode. And there are the two buffers used, one for writing the continuous data and other for reading of the data stored in the previous frame. Therefore, each buffer is in write and a read modes in the alternate frame while we are using this FDMA group for the transmitting side. Now, if you see here at the receiving side, a similar system with the two expansion buffers, we are having same 1 and 2 because we are having that FDMA supergroup decoder. The same system is there, and in that case, in FDMA supergroup, we are having two buffers. One, that means one is for data reading continuously, and another is for the we can have a writing the buffer there. If we are having one is while write the data, and then another is for the reading there. The same thing is for the transmitting and the receiving side. Now in this particular FDMA, we are having one more concept you can consider, that is about a scrambler. Generally, scrambler is used for what data rate your data is transmitting, or we can say that to retrieve the clock rate, because TDMA frame bit is having a zeros and one, and that particular zeros and one that having because TDMA frame format, if you see that it is having the repetitive frame. So while data is transmitting with the repetitive frame, but for a given that it consists of a zeros and one series. So then it is difficult to identify that a clock rate, at what clock rate data is there. So that's why a scrambler is used to generate the to identify that how much will be the clock rate for the given particular signal. And this scrambler is used for purpose of what energy dispersion, and it provides the information for the clock recovery. Then a TDMA transmission to the satellite. So earlier we say that a TDMA frame it has having the reference frame, and it has, and then there are having the different channels. Different users may say that we are having a different stations here. So now reference stations, it has having a different control bus, and it provides information about the how many stations are transmitting the data to the satellite there. But if you see that we sending the information from the satellite to the satellite from the earth station, and if you see a geostationary satellite that has that distance from the earth station to the satellite is large, so that's why there will be a large delay at a transponder side. The transponder receives the data, but it is delayed from the reference station, it is delayed from the various stations. So stations are not at the same positions, because stations they are having the distance places there, and they are having their different delay. So at a transponder in a satellite, that system is a more complex, because it is to be accommodated with a given delay, and we can find out what information is to be sent by the each and every earth station there. So that's why we are having a circuit system for understanding what frame we are having, or from which pulse or which particular information transmitted from the stations there. So here one example we are having, that is initial equation and a frame count sequence. This one is see the figure A saying that is about the transmitted pulse, and because at the same interval we are having another pulse is to be transmitting, but because of that satellite delay, this one is about a satellite delay, it is receiving at this particular place. And similarly we can have a that's about it at a receiving side, so that is at a transmitter side we are having. So means each and every frame is transmitting. This is about transmitted pulse. This is nothing but a transmitting frame for a given particular symbols and all. It is transmitting. So it is nothing but a delayed one because of that path. Okay, satellite path. So for that purpose, we need to know that how much is the time taken, and how much is the time for each and every particular frame receiving one, and for each and every transmitting pulse it is having some particular unique word. So while receiving, we need to identify that what information from the given particular station there. This one is about a unique word generator. Just in a particular the frame format, it consists of generate a unique word, and we can have use in a TDMA frame there. Then we are having a different stations there at a transmit side, from the transmit side, and we can have a receiving information from the different stations there. So that's why we need, if you see a TDMA frame format, so we need a reference station number. So that's why reference station unique ID RUW, and a local stations we are having. So that is each and every station they are having the different unique word, or we can say that a identification for the given particular word. So here we are having the reference station. So for the given particular reference station, data transmitting from the reference station, so that is a satellite delay. We can say the delay T1 from the reference station there. Okay, and here at reference unique word for a reference station. Then we are having a transmit side, that is satellite delay from whatever the local station we are having, and local unique word. So we can identify that what is the efficiency of a TDMA particular format based on the delay and all. Okay, how much is the time required, or which can have a complete path. Here we can consider here there that uplink delays, and how much will be the errors. Okay, because delayed one, so there will be a position error. Similarly, we can calculate how much is the frame efficiency, and it is just like how much is the data transmitted, and how many users are utilize it. So a simple example we are having, a frame efficiency is equal to whatever how much user data bits divided by the total bits in the particular frame, or 1 minus overhead bits by total bits in the frame there. This efficiency we are having 1 minus n into b dot p here, v plus bc and bf. Number of data bus, bits in a preamble, bits in a control bus, and a total bits in the frame here. So this is for your TDMA, time division multiplex system. We have learned that a data bus synchronization. Here we can have, okay, the case here we are having, we say that is about whatever we can understand here, that is for the different earth stations. So that's why we need to synchronize the data, and then after receive that data is receiving by the transponder there, so then we need a acquisition system. So that's why we are having that initial acquisition system of a TDMA there, and then we can have, this one is about the initial acquisition system. So because it is about the multiple stations, so each and every station having their unique word. Okay, so that's why we are having unique word generator, and then there is a reference station here. A reference station is used to consist of whatever the burst is transmitting, or it is useful for the synchronization purpose and all. So we can calculate that how much is the time difference between that reference unique word and we can have a local station unique word. So we can find out how much is the position error for this given local bus there. Okay, this simply to identify that how much is the error in the given particular system there. Okay, so that's why we can have a bus synchronization circuit here in this particular case. You can calculate that how much is the efficiency regarding that a total number of bits to be transmitted. So this is for your TDMA. Okay, so we can go ahead to the next lecture, that is about a code division multiplexing. So before that, we can end up with a TDMA, and we say that if you consider that TDMA can use a total particular bandwidth, but that is divided with a different times and all. So means it is sharing a time. So that's why bandwidth utilized more. So that's why it has having the large capacity. And if you consider that FDMA, so bandwidths are divided. So that's why it has having the low capacity there. Okay, so simple we can have in terms of a bandwidth. We say it is more utilization in the bandwidth. And the next is about we can have a code division multiplexing access. So it uses a complete bandwidth, and it uses all time to transmit the data. Okay, and it uses a spared spectrum multiple access technique. A user shares the system power, and each user uses a unique code to make the signal orthogonal to the other user signal. And it has having the unique code, so that is nothing but the address of the transmitter, and that is used for the transmitting and the receiving the information there. So this is for your code division multiplexing access. Then there are the types of a CDMA there. We will see here. We are having a TDMA there. That is about a direct sequence CDMA and a frequency of a CDMA there. And it both use a sequence code, pseudo-random code we are having. So consider that information for the transmission and coordination. Okay. So now, if you compare with this CDMA with the TDMA FDMA there, so in that case, FDMA use or we can say that it shares the available frequency spectrum, and each user is being a part of the given spectrum all the time. But in the case of a TDMA, users share the available time. Each user shares using a part of a frame and the entire spectrum. And if you consider that a code division multiple access method in which user can use entire spectrum for all the time, and that user shares the available power in this particular method, and it is achieved by whatever the pseudo noise code generated at a higher data rate. And that's why the spectrum is available fully here in this particular case. And pseudo modulation spread spectrum is used. Okay, so that's about it. SSP we are having, so that's why I can say that's about it. Spread spectrum multiple access system. And then, so if you see that each transmitter having that is pseudo noise code generator, which reserves for the address of the transmitter and receiver. The receiver identify by detecting whatever the PN code, and that PN code is generated for the corresponding carrier, and it consists of a superimposed data, and we can find out how much it will be the information we are having. And that's why we can have use a PN code directly, combined directly with the data before modulation, or a PN code controls the carrier frequency of a transmission. These are the two types of a CDMA we are having: direct sequence CDMA and a frequency hopping CDMA. We'll see in detail. So before that, we should know that how to generate a PN sequence code and all. Okay. Thank you all.